in the country. Talk about you talked a little bit about earlier in the conversation, but playing in the SEC has got to prepare you unlike anything else for a run like this.
Yeah, we say it's not getting any harder. If anything, it'll get easier. And unless you're matched up with we're with an SEC team in a super, the competition doesn't get better. And that's the good thing is we play the best competition and we're prepared. And that's what this league does to you. And it's a sink or swim league. And if you sink, you're not going to be successful. But if you swim, you're going to find a way to play this game for a long time.
No doubt. Well, my last question to you, just because I love Gabe, your best Gabe Gross PG story that you can share on the show.
Oh, man. Well, I don't know if I have a good one, but, Gabe doesn't cuss. And so
he doesn't. That's right.
No, he doesn't. And so I think the best is when he gets mad at you in the fall. Actually, in the fall, 2 years ago or last year, we have a rule in the fall. If you take an outside fastball for strike three, you just drop everything and start running.
Right.
And one of my roommates, a player on our team last year named Carter Wright, took a strike three call and started doing laps around the field while the inter squad was going on. And then practice ends and Gabe leaves and just forgets about him. And so Carter just kept running.
Wow.
Kept running. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I got to ask you too, is there an SEC ballpark that you just dread going to?
Yes. Arkansas. Can't stand that place.
Oh.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. Your home of the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
This is Sports Center. Good morning. I'm Doug Brown. The Knicks lead wire to wire on the way to a 111-94 win over the Pacers. Jalen Brunson with 32 points. Karl Anthony Towns, 24 points and 13 rebounds. Indiana still leads the Eastern Conference Finals 3-2. Game 6 Saturday night in Indy here on ESPN Radio. It'll be a rematch in the Stanley Cup Final. The Oilers beat the Stars in Dallas 6-3 to wrap up the West Final in 5 games. Connor McDavid with a goal and an assist. The Oilers had a 3-0 lead just over 8 minutes in. They'll host Game 1 of the final against the reigning champion Panthers Wednesday night. The Braves get a doubleheader split with the Phillies winning the nightcap 9-3 behind lefty Chris Sale, who throws 6 scoreless innings and becomes the fastest pitcher to reach 2,500 career strikeouts.
The Braves roll into the 2025 season with a singular focus. Bring home the division title and remind the league what Atlanta is all about.
Swung on, driven to left center field and deep. That baby's out of here. Austin Riley. 3-0 to Olsen, and he powers one. Deep right center field to the wall. It's going to fly. It's a home run. Back-to-back homers.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Joe Hunk. John Abraham. 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Hello and welcome in to a fun Friday here in No Man's Land. Sorry for the interruption on Talking Ball. We had to get back to the regular scheduled programming. And if you wanted to hear more of what Ike Irish, Auburn catcher, had to say, then you guys can head over to our website, 977ESPN.com, WZZN TV over on YouTube, or you can find us on SoundCloud at the very same name of this station. We welcome you guys in. We appreciate you joining us for 2 hours straight of sports talk, goofs and gaffs, and so much more, including your phone calls at 256-576-97.7. As we get things off and rolling, we look forward to the weekend. We look forward to today's slate of baseball. It's going to be going down in their respected regions. As Alabama is going to be playing host. Psych! Not playing host. But they will be playing Miami today in Hattiesburg.
It's so dumb.
Yeah.
No. You know, because it just hit me today as I was getting all the like notes and everything ready.
Mm-hmm.
Why is the 3 seed the home team in this game? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even small things like that that you think may not be a big deal. Yeah, that whole batting last thing kind of is at times.
Uh-huh.
It can change your strategy a little bit. Why are you the home? I mean, why isn't Alabama the home team? Like, it's just small things like that I'm just going, that just sounds dumb to me.
Well, it's because they didn't get the you know what? I'm still trying to figure it out myself.
The number
Joe.
1 team and the number 2 team should be the home team, regardless.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it should be.
Well, regardless of that, it's going to be in Hattiesburg. Southern Miss is hosting, and I mean, it's a pretty good team, and they're going to have the ability to win against teams like Miami, possibly Columbia, and Southern Miss themselves. So it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I think this is one of the easier regions to go in. So for Alabama, I think this is favorable. And we had earlier on in the week on Talkin' Ball, Rob Vaughn was talking a little bit about his Crimson Tide and what they need to do. And I was thinking to myself, if this is an Alabama team that means business, that means that they can do what they want and get back to the World Series, then they're going to be fine in this region. But it's got to be the consistency that we need to see out of this team. And it's going to be a long weekend. And once it's all over, I mean, we'll see if Alabama's the better team. And they're going to have to face off against some pretty tough challenge. If Vanderbilt's able to get through Nashville, which, of course, they get the host,
they have the
number 1
easiest
seed.
path, man. That's part of being number 1.
Oh, yeah. And I hate to see that matchup because then it's going to be a Vanderbilt team that Alabama can beat. But again, it's going to be tough because Vanderbilt has been really hot as of late.
And the thing about Corbin is he knows how to get Vanderbilt ready for this time of the year. It isn't. I mean, it isn't something that they just accidentally backed into.
No,
this is how Vanderbilt plays.
Exactly.
Like, Corbin is always preparing. Obviously, he wants to make sure he's a national seed. He wants to have the best team in the country, but he understands that you're going to be judged by SEC championships, national championships. That is how every single coach is going to be looked at when it comes to winning, and every single program is looked at towards winning. And honestly, with Vanderbilt, when you are the premier program in that school, you have got to continue to keep a standard. Like, it just is. If they lose baseball, then they have literally nothing at that program anymore.
Yeah.
Their athletic director has nothing to bring to.
What are you talking about? Their football team's getting better. They're bringing back Diego Pavia. This is a team that's on the rise. They beat Alabama. This is a change. This is a stepping stone to move forward for the Commodores.
This team has nothing. And this program has nothing.
Yeah.
If Vanderbilt's baseball is not winning.
You're not wrong. I mean, basketball hasn't been what it was in the 2010s, and for the football team,
it's been
of
better.
course. Yeah, well, still, it hasn't really shown anything that could really have national coverage of. For the football team, of course, you get a little bit of hype from last season. They bring over pretty much half of, I think it was a New Mexico State's team to that squad. So, I mean, there's a lot of growth going on in Nashville. Of course, their stadiums are also getting built up. Their facilities are looking better, but there's a long way to go to be competitive year in and year out for that Vanderbilt Commodore squad. But a team that is kind of solidified at the top of college sports right now is Auburn. And this is not just the Auburn baseball team, but the Auburn basketball team. I want to say the Auburn football team as well, but Joe wants to be a little bit more hesitant because you are an Auburn fan.
No, it's because Hugh Freeze is the head coach.
And because Hugh Freeze is the head coach, and Jackson Arnold is
the quarterback because Hugh Freeze is the head coach. Again, the NCAA football game in the last 24 hours, we've learned a lot about this.
It's Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze is in the game, right? He's got
Actually, they have not said. I don't think I've seen if Hugh Freeze is in it or not.
They said there was like 300 something coaches that are going to be in the game.
300 coaches are in there. I know Sark is in there. I know Andy Staples was putting out a list. I mean, look, there's only like 140 programs in, or 114 programs in college football as far as FBS level is concerned. It has been confirmed that neither Prime nor Bill Belichick are in the game.
Okay.
Both of them opted out.
Makes sense. What was the guy? Do you remember the guy's name that they used to replace him with in Madden?
God, it was just like this guy with glasses standing over there.
He had white hair and he had the black glasses.
Yeah. So the thought is that not only are you going to be getting head coaches, you're also going to be getting offensive and defensive coordinators in the game. But they also said that there's going to be chants that are very specific for every stadium, for every fan base that they're adding into it. And I just want one that just says "Fire Hugh." Like, that's all I want.
Ooh.
I just want that,
I don't know if they would do
screw
that.
you, who. Can you make one? See, that's the other thing. In Japanese baseball game, I can make chants.
That's pretty legit.
I don't know how, but I can make them if I really wanted to dive down into it.
Well, similar to like how college football has their own side website that you have to go to make football teams. Japan probably has their own side
They
website.
do, and there's people that can make them, and they make them for each individual team for their batting chants and all this. I just want one like that because I promise you, when I start this game, the first thing I'm doing is firing Hugh Freeze. That's it. I'm like, you're out. Peace out, Hugh. I think that's what I'm going to do every single time. The only reason I didn't do it this year's game is because he wasn't in the game. But if he's in the game this year, you're out. I'm out.
Get him out of there.
Yeah, you're going to have being that way. So no, the football program is not on the rise. It is not, because Hugh Freeze is the head coach.
I think anything's better than Peyton Thorne, but I don't want to dog on him too much.
Have you met Jackson Arnold?
I don't think he was he at SEC Media Days last year? I remember Peyton Thorne at SEC Media Days. I don't remember Jackson Arnold showing up to SEC Media Days. I don't think he was there. I'm not 100% sure.
But right now you can also watch on WZZN TV, listen ESPN in Winchester up in Tennessee. You can also listen on 97.7 ESPN The Zone in Huntsville in North Alabama, as it has been pouring down rain all morning. Had to make like one of those dead sprints into the building because I literally pulled up the moment that it started raining hardest right here at the building. Austin right now, though, he's enjoying Gatlinburg as he is listening and watching us. So we appreciate that, Austin. Steve Moulton's on his way in, and he's pulling to me apparently, and he is watching while driving. Good job by you.
Well, thankfully, you can listen to this show easily, and whether you're watching or listening, we just appreciate it. But we love the engagement. Again, 256-576-97.7, as well as WZZN TV. You could join Austin, Steve, and a whole lot more on over there. Now, I do want to look at this Central Connecticut team, though, Joe, that Auburn's going to be facing off against. We are going to be talking with Ike Jones from the War Report, and he'll give us a little bit more info on this squad. But, I mean, you look at a team that's sitting at 31-15, and you got to say that it's pretty impressive, but you need to look at who they're facing off against. It has not been the same as an SEC team. Of course it has not. It has not been the same as an ACC team. But it's still competitive baseball, and they're still leading their respected conference. And when you're an Auburn team, you can't look at a squad like this and think that you're just going to make them roll over. This is the sport of baseball, Joe. What is the thing that Auburn needs to make sure they stay true to going up against an opponent that may be pretty impressive on paper, but is also kind of being looked past right now in that region?
This team isn't very – I'm trying to be careful with how I say it, just in case it kind of screws up here in the next couple of hours.
That's the way this goes.
But at the same time, like they're not really a very powerful team, is a good way of saying it, because they've only got like 37 home runs total as a team throughout the season. Like you're looking at the way that they've come into the season and they're playing so far. I mean, 31-15 is fantastic. You win your conference, you get into it. That's the only way you're going to get into a tournament kind of like that. But at the same time, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, the fact that you barely can get any sort of pop whatsoever. No, sir. They don't hit many doubles. Many triples as well. And I'm looking at this as from kind of a team standpoint and looking at that way. There's nothing about this that I'm looking as far as staring at them that I'm just going, yeah, this team makes me nervous.
Well, you got to give them the eye test too, because I look at a bunch of their games that they've played throughout the year, and although they haven't had the home runs that other teams may have, they have a lot of runs on the board.
Okay, so they have one player on the team whose name is Aiden, and I'm going to screw his last name up, but I believe it's Radahan, and him and Gabe Pitts. Those are going to be two players that you're going to want to keep them off of first base, just because it's going to come down to adding into this with the stolen bases. So this is where, I look at things like that. The things I look at when I'm just evaluating a team from, 10,000 feet type thing is I look at a couple of things. Obviously, I'm looking at OPS, because for a lot of people don't know, that means how many times you can get on base. And when you do get on base, Your slugging percentage means how many bases you get every single time that you get on base. So that's a good barometer to look for, a barometer, I should say, of trying to figure that out. The other thing I look for is how you're going to get an extra 90 feet whenever you shouldn't. So stolen bases, your ability to leg a single into a double, because I'm looking at something like a Gabe Pitts and I'm thinking to myself, if you got 10 stolen bases, then I'm looking at something like you're going to be able to leg out a double into a triple if there's a little bit of a bobble when it comes to the relay man. Things like that are going to be small little 90 feet here and there, things that can cost you a game. That could possibly be something that I'm looking at for when it comes to this team, but it's still
a little skeptical on it.
Well, it's just still nothing is impressive. I mean, 8 is batting almost 500 on the year, which is absolutely crazy to think about. He's batting 459, but also, you're looking at, his OPS is somewhere over 1,200, which is absolutely tremendous. But the people behind him, your Kyle Gordons, your Luis Jordans, those type of players that you're going to be seeing today,
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to look at the stat for runs, and you look at a majority of Central Connecticut's games, and it's over 10. I mean, they hit double digits, and they run double digits. They run it up the board quite consistently, but you still look at Auburn and the amount that they've had throughout this season, and it's looking like 420 runs on the year compared to their 411. So, and that's, again, against totally different competition.
There's going to be another speed guy in Bo Jaworski that you're going to hear about, depending on how he's going to play. He has speed as well. A lot of times when you're talking about these smaller schools, they're going to be guys that aren't going to have as much power in this, which obviously Central Connecticut State does not. But what they are going to be looking at is going to be the speed, because speed, it doesn't matter if you're 6'4", 6'1", or if you're 5'9". Like, that's a lot of times you're going to go to these small colleges because you don't have the height and the build to be going over to the big colleges. He has 6 triples so far this year. So the individual players are going to be ones that you're going to want to be paying attention to with this. But I mean, still, from a standpoint of their pitching and their hitting compared to what Auburn has had so far this season, I'm not focused that much on that team. It's more of the other teams that are also in the regional.
And those other teams are Stetson and NC State, which we'll be facing off today.
NC State's the one that makes me nervous.
Yeah, and I feel like NC State in any sport is kind of one of those teams you kind of look past. You don't think too much about until you see them actually play. And in football, it's one thing. A few years ago, they had a little bit of momentum going for them, but as of late, hasn't worked out for them. Basketball, they made a nice little Cinderella run last year in March Madness, and now NC State baseball, out of all of the teams, this is the most consistent of them.
Look, and I'm also, when I talk about the pitching, and I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, who's going to be pitching for Central, whatever their name is?
Central Connecticut.
CCCSU, whatever it is. Yeah, I mean, you got one pitcher, their one ace it has a 4.22 ERA. Their other player, which is their number 2 starter, has a 4.34 ERA. Like, that doesn't make me nervous. Like, it's not like when I'm looking at it in Southern Miss, who has a pitcher that has like a sub-2 ERA in Middleton. And I'm thinking, okay, now that guy can beat you in a regional and put you into a position that now you're going to have to beat them twice in the championship round. Like, those are the things I look for. With CCSU, none of this, as far as what they do as a team, is really making me nervous going into this game.
Well, maybe Ike will have different perspective on it, but he should also be feeling really good about his Auburn Tigers. This team has been hot all year long, and we've been following them all year long. Some other matchups and regions that you guys need to know about: the Knoxville Regional, Tennessee, of course, going to be facing off against their respected opponent in Miami of Ohio that Joe decided to flame the other day for whatever reason.
I don't know. It's just they randomly. I didn't even know they were in the Knoxville Regional. I didn't eat when I kept naming Miami of Ohio yesterday. Didn't even think about it, which, by the way, shocker, SEC meetings wrapped up down in Destin. Yeah, we didn't make any decisions of anything of importance whatsoever. But so, great. Basically, we just gave every media member a chart letting us know the reason why we shouldn't go to 9 games.
I love the chart. It's so dumb. It's so intriguing.
No, it's dumb. It is, hey, well, we really don't need to do this. You're right. But when I'm a season ticket holder and I paying for, say, 8 regular season football games, 4 of them are garbage. I don't want 4 garbage football games, and I'm not going to pay the astronomical amount that you're asking me to pay just so that I can get one game that I care about. Yeah, that matters. I don't care about we've got the best one of this and we've got the best one of that. No, you know what I care about? If I'm going to spend my money on a season ticket with you, then I don't want to see you play a POS school and me spend my entire Saturday spending it around the stadium just for said POS school.
Now, Joe, last year, Tennessee had a really bad schedule. And it still evens out with all of the SEC opponents. At least the SEC loves to tell us that. And I agree with them. They start out with Syracuse, which I don't think is going to be a pushover. Then they have...
Yeah, that's also not at home.
Oh, yeah, no, that one's not at home.
Yeah, that's the Chick-fil-A
but
kickoff.
Regardless, these are their POS games in parentheses. Eastern Tennessee State, which, by the way, they keep it in the state. All that money that gets thrown around is just going back and forth. And then later on, they have UAB after Georgia. And I don't think that's terrible, but it's still not good. But then later on in the season, 3 games before the regular season comes to an end, New Mexico State that we were just talking about earlier. It's just... I hate to see those 4 games on this schedule. I do like that Syracuse matchup, but what Tennessee's doing is something that other teams in the SEC aren't doing. I forgot which team we looked over yesterday, but their schedule with those 4 opponents, I think, no, it wasn't Ohio. Ohio State has bad POS opponents, but the SEC throwing in 4 of those for their teams that aren't playing those, it's the beginning of the season celebration games.
Look,
that's whenever I'm
here's Auburn's home schedule. Okay, Ball State, South Alabama, in-state, but still South Alabama.
And we love South Alabama. They're great in their own respected conference.
Georgia, Missouri, Kentucky, Mercer, Alabama. There is only 2 games on that entire home schedule that I care about.
You don't think the Georgia and the Alabama make up for it?
No.
Okay. You're more of a consistency guy yourself, I see.
No, I mean, again, I want every single week to matter.
Okay.
I don't want to sit and go, all right, well, this week we're playing Mercer. All right, well, anybody want my ticket for $5? It won't get, look, it doesn't even cost you the amount of gas it's going to cost you to get down there just to get this ticket. No, screw that. I want good opponents, especially if I'm a season ticket holder.
I wonder if Ike Jones feels the same. I could say that he probably does, but I'd love to hear his opinion firsthand. So that's what we're going to do. Hop into a break. When we get back, talking Auburn football, baseball, basketball, everything on the Plains here on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, ESPN Winchester, and WZZN TV.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title, because when it's your closing, and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beams likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
Scattered showers and a few thunderstorms will be coming to an end by about lunchtime. High temperatures warming into the upper 70s. Heading into Friday night, we start to clear out and dry out with low temperatures falling into the upper 50s. Saturday brings plenty of sunshine. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You know, we're getting a little bit of a break from the weather this weekend. It'd be a perfect time to contact Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSB.com to fill out your free quote today. Joe.
So as you're talking about, first off, my subdivision was hit, obviously, with a lot of bad weather, and the amount of roofing experts that are trying to just walk through the community and get in, we're like, no, we're good, man. We got Fleming. Also, and I don't know if Ike Jones knows this, as he's about to join us on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, ESPN Winchester, and WCZN TV. Instead of like East and West or North and South, the way that some conferences have their divisions broken up, do you know how the A-Suns conferences are divided by?
I can't say I do. That's a Drudy Armand question right there.
They are known as the Gold Division and the Graphite Division.
Oh!
So Ike Jones joins us from the War Report. Did you know that?
I had no idea. And graphite, like that's pencil lead, right? Like I don't even. What are we doing?
That's what I'm saying. Like, could you not have just said like the red and blue division? Like,
no, you can't do that. You can't do that.
And gold division.
It's gotta be. Then there must be like a mining community or something. It's gotta make sense somehow.
I don't doubt that it does, but of course we know the SEC. And when it comes to divisions, those don't exist anymore.
No, look, the Graphite Division is made up of Stetson, Jacksonville, Florida Gulf Coast, North Florida, West Georgia, and Queens. None of those are mining.
No, well, I'm done. I'm out.
See,
you stumped me. You stumped everybody listening.
Too. I'm looking at it, I'm like, no, these are like southeastern schools. This isn't even like there's no northeast, like West Virginia mining community or anything.
Oh, well, he's already done with that.
Yeah, no, so that's some stuff you need to know as Stetson is in Auburn this weekend.
What I wanted to know is, when did the party start? Because Auburn gets to host this whole thing, and it seems like a pretty big moment for the Auburn Tigers. And talk a little bit about it. I mean, did the party get started 2-3 days ago, or was it like a week ago when it first was announced?
Yeah, I mean, listen, as much as people love baseball, I don't know that there's like a huge party going on as far as that is concerned. But there's no reason that there's no wrong reason to start a party for Auburn college students. So
that's true.
Yeah, as soon as they announced it, party begins.
And you look at this first opponent, of course, Central Connecticut State, and this is a team that, of course, played very well in their respected conference. But you're looking at this SEC slate, and everybody that Auburn has played, and I mean, this is a game Auburn's got to win. And of course, you move forward, and this is a region that you got to win. But there are some names within this region that might cause a little bit of concern. Talk a little bit about the opponents that these Tigers might be facing throughout the week.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start off with the opponent that they have today, which is Quality School. You hesitate to say you're not concerned about a team, but they're by far the team that scares you the least in this. Got a really great hitter in Redahan. I want to say his name properly. Apologize if I mispronounced that there.
I did the same
but,
thing. Yeah,
dude can absolutely slap it around the yard, man. So he's probably going to be someone that if they don't have to pitch to him, they're not going to, or they're not going to give him a lot of pitches to hit. Just so you don't have one guy beat you. But their on-base percentage is pretty good. So they just really do a pretty good job of getting on base and playing a little small ball and trying to advance hitters, that sort of thing. So quality squad there. The pitching is kind of but a quality baseball team there for sure. And they've won a lot of games this season. Stetson, I think, is also a really solid team. Again, not a team that you look on paper, at least. I can't say I sat around and watched a bunch of Stetson baseball this year.
That graphite division.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was not sitting there in the Scantron division trying to figure out what was happening. But on paper, again, not a team that you really are scared of, but they are a team that gets on base fairly well and patient hitting, that sort of thing. So not somebody you can just look past. NC State is interesting because they've had the most quality competition that they've faced, but they did seem to falter towards the end of the year. If you just look at the record and how they kind of stacked losses towards the end of the season, not unlike Auburn, honestly, but towards the end of the year, you see them falter a little bit more. But probably the team that, if you were to pencil in if it's not going to be Auburn, who would you think is going to advance from the region? I would say NC State would be the next up.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the vision that we're throwing at it. And Ike Jones, of course, from the War Report, joins us to talk a little bit of Auburn baseball, and we'll get into the rest of the athletics as well. But I mean, for this regional, you would hate to throw out some of your top pitchers, but at the same time, I mean, you need to get by. You're not going to throw a Carson Myers at any of these opponents, are you?
Cam Tilley, who's going to be the starter today.
Okay.
And, he got smacked around his last couple of starts. ERA is, I think, at like 5 right now. So the big issue for Cam Tilley, and this is where you're going to run into issues with a team like this Central Connecticut State team, is he throws a lot of he walks a lot of guys, right? And so he just needs to be able to get outs and really figure out how to throw pitches for strikes a little bit more consistently. Again, you don't want to falter to, they have 2 guys that are really, you've got Redahan, who's a really good hitter, and then he's got another guy who's ERA-wise and on-base percentage is a good hitter as well. Outside of that, the rest of the lineup is really, if you can't just put those guys on base and then allow them to get base runners out there, right? And I think that's the big thing that Tilley has to stay away from, is figuring out how to just get outs and throw pitches for strikes, man. And I think he'll be okay. But I do expect to see a quick hook if it's not looking good for Tilley out there.
So, and with that means that you're saving Ace obviously for tomorrow, which against NC State. But that's the part that worries me is the NC State thing. And I know that you mentioned a minute, but I mean, all the way up until maybe Saturday, this looked like a team that I thought was going to be a regional host. And then next thing you know, they're coming to Auburn, and I'm going, oh, that one makes me nervous, between them and Georgia Tech in the other regionals. Like, those 2 teams, I go, those could have good arguments for host sites.
Yeah, I mean, listen, NC State's still dangerous. They have probably the most complete of the teams that are in this region, because, again, when I talked to you guys last time, I was very adamant that I was not convinced that this Auburn pitching staff was going to be able to do a lot. They kind of proved that in the last couple of games, that final series versus Ole Miss, and then going into the SEC tournament, the pitching just wasn't very good. And so that's the thing that Auburn's got to be better about. NC State's a little more balanced in their ability to attack you, so it is a very dangerous person to have.
So now with like you're talking about with Tilly and with going into this with them, is this more of a we're going into this looking at thinking that this was going to be a bullpen game, or is this going to be one where you just want to get the win, but you know that you're not playing as far as a team that should be on your level?
I think it's a little bit of that second one, but more so I think that Coach Thompson is more of a guy that just kind of he sets his rotation, and Tilly is usually the first guy they throw out there on a weekend rotation, right? So it's more so this is how our pitching rotation typically is going to be. But for the scenario, I don't think that you have enough bats that you feel like you have to overpower them, that you have to throw your ace out there first. So Tilly has enough stuff to be able to get wins. He's gotten wins against some quality teams. I mean, in the end, the South Carolina game or matchup probably is not a great one to throw out there. He did get a win in that one, but they absolutely decimated that team. But he's had the ability to win against lesser bats is what I'm saying. And so not a team that's going to threaten you with their slugging percentage. So Tilly should be serviceable out there. But again, if it's going wrong early, I don't expect them to just stick with it.
And we talked with Ike Irish over on Talkin Ball a little bit, and it's a great interview, great kid to talk to. He's got a lot of power and in his swing. He's also great at doing his job as a catcher and being a multi-utilized tool, I would say, that on the baseball field. But talk about some of these hitters and who you've seen really show up in this last half of the season going into the College World Series.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it starts with Ike Irish. You got to love what he's doing out there. And, the emergence of Fabian behind the plate allowed Irish to get out there to the outfield with some guys who another bat and seer lineup and move Irish around a little bit. And then, you definitely I love a guy that I love that doesn't get talked a lot about is Cabrera. He's solid defensively, but he's just a good, solid hitter and shown up in some really big spots. I'm a big Bub Terrell fan. I think that he is I think he's going to be an absolute beast as he matures a little bit. True freshman like Fabian that's out there doing his thing. So definitely a lot of ability as proved by the South Carolina series for Auburn to just smack it around and really pummel a team. I'm hoping that's going to be the case versus this Central Connecticut team that doesn't really have the pitching staff that I would look at and say, oh man, those guys have like really great arms out there. Stetson, I think, has a good pitching staff. I don't see Central Connecticut as like a really formidable staff, but I do love a couple of guys out there for Auburn to be able to make some big impact today.
No doubt. Ike
Irish.
Ike Jones.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll take it.
Well, at least you didn't call him, Ryan Clark or anything.
Oh, yeah, I stuck with Ike.
I mean, come on. There's other names you've called him since the times he's been on the air with us.
Ike Jones, yes.
Yeah.
I had to make sure. Because
Yeah.
I was about to slip up and say Ike Taylor or something like that.
See, there we go.
From the War Report, doing a great job talking to Auburn with us. And you got to kind of focus on that Conway Regional as well. Of course, Coastal Carolina hosting. And you look at that fellow SEC team, Florida, into the mix up there. And, of course, they didn't finish off the SEC like they wanted to at Hoover, but still a good team, and you got to focus on some of these opponents as well because they might be the next ones up.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, I want to see Auburn get out of this regional for sure. I think the next one might be the place where the buck stops, man. There's some really good teams that would be coming out of that super. And Auburn's going to have their work cut out for them, especially, again, if the bats are not going to be the saving grace, because you're going to go against some teams that can absolutely crank it. They got raking ability up and down their freaking roster, and that's where Auburn's going to have to match them in the ability to put runs up there, I think.
Yeah, and I want to kind of move things over to the basketball side of things because some big news came out in the last few days as we, of course, got to the NBA deadline to go into the draft and a big bring back for the Tigers, similar to some other teams around the league. Todd Pettiford, though, coming back to Auburn to continue his career as a Tiger. Talk about how this kind of readjusts the starting five going forward for Auburn.
Yeah, Tahai Pettiford coming back is definitely huge for Auburn because he is going to be the only guy that's going to be returning from a Final Four run. Not a single other player on that roster that had any playing time in the Final Four returns for Auburn except for Tahai Pettiford. He is going to be one of the more dynamic guards in the country, not just the SEC. Scoring ability in a very different look for what is going to be this Auburn team from the last couple of years in the Janai Broom era. They're not going to be feeding it through the post primarily. Probably a lot more pick and roll action. Still going to see the flex because it's Bruce Pearl. But what I think it will allow for Tahai to be is a more focal point of the offense. And he's going to be a guy that I think relishes the opportunity to be a lead scoring guard in this system next year for Bruce Pearl.
And I want to know, because whenever you see a guy that's out of the country that gets picked up by some of these teams, it's a lot of questions. And for Auburn, they got a guy, Serbian-born forward in
Filip Jokic.
There you go, Filip Jokic. And I mean, what do you know about him? What is Auburn getting in this kid?
Yeah, I took a look at a little bit of his film after Auburn or when the rumors started that Auburn was looking at him and he had to figure out what was going to be going on with him. He plays really well in the pick and roll. So, going back to what I just said about, I think the Auburn offense is going to feature that pick and roll a lot more, a la what it was in the Walker Kessler, Jabari Smith era of Auburn basketball. And he plays really well in the pick and roll, short roll. Ability to get to the rim, very patient when he gets to the rim. I think he's a 6'7" guy, so decent height on him and plays with some physicality on the inside. I don't see him as like a dominant player, and if he comes out and dominates, then more power to him. But I see a lot of versatility, ability to slide him outside on a pick and pop, and he can actually shoot from the outside fairly well. So just I think a really solid contribution for the offense there. Defensively, decent rim protector. It's hard to gauge that sometimes because you don't really know from like highlight packages or small cutups that you're seeing what the athleticism of the other guys that he's going against is going to be. But I think he's a solid addition.
And anytime I see the name Jokic in basketball, I'm thinking that's a stud in the making. We also want to talk a little bit of football, of course. SEC meetings down in
Please
Destin.
give me something good. Can you please? I mean, seriously, man. Like I need like something like I know that now Auburn and Baylor is going to be a nighttime game. That's kind of cool. But I mean, outside of that, man, give me something good here.
I mean, football wise, there's not a lot to talk about new. What you know is what it is. And I think the big thing for this team is going to be figuring out what the passing offense is going to look like. Is there going to be competency in the ability to throw the forward pass this season? Because you have, by a lot of people's accounts, one of the top 5 probably wide receiver rooms in the country. Like, I mean, I've literally seen them listed as top 2 on some people's stuff, right? And I think PFF was the one I saw most recently, right behind Ohio State. Auburn had the second highest rated PFF wide receiver room in the country, right? But they can't throw the ball to themselves. And how much is Auburn going to be confident in their ability to do that? That's really going to be the high water mark of this team. Where that passing offense is where this team is going to go.
Okay, so now I need to know the most important bit of information that could have came out in the last week. Is Hugh Freeze in the college football game so I can fire him? Is that a thing?
That one I don't know the answer to. I don't have any insight on the game like that.
Their names are dropping that coaches are in and are not. I just need to know. That's literally what I'm doing the first thing I get the game. So I just didn't know if it had come out and I missed it or not.
No, I haven't heard anything about Coach Hugh Freeze being in the game. So I'm no help there. So.
That's okay.
Well, the game will come out soon enough, Joe, and you'll be able to figure that out for yourself. That's interesting though. Seeing people throw out that Auburn has a top-ranked wide receiver core.
Yes,
and I'm thinking about last year too. I mean, if this year is 4 stars they get, if this year is as high as it is, I'm wondering what last year's was, and that was kind of the same thing, right? I mean, Peyton Thorne struggled with throwing the ball to his wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, so I think the difference in this year and last year is people liked Keandre Lambert-Smith, but he was not the highest rated wide receiver in the transfer portal when he hit, right? And then he was a second window transfer portal receiver, right? What they love about Eric Singleton is like Lambert-Smith, I think Lambert-Smith criminally underrated as a wide receiver, right? But Eric Singleton's already getting first round, second round draft hype preseason. And you know what you have in the 5-star ability of Cam Coleman, and people expect a lot from him. You love what you saw from Malcolm Simmons. So you see that stuff culminate, and then you say to yourself, well, you got Perry Thompson sitting on the bench out of all of that. Horatio Fields knows, like that group. And I said this on our show once before, if you were to be in 11 personnel and you got 3 receivers on the field, the next 3 guys for Auburn, I'd say the vast majority of teams in the country would love to have them as their starting receivers.
That's good. That's impressive right there. And Eric Singleton, of course, the transfer from Georgia Tech, he has experience against SEC opponents, and one that Auburn really wants to win against this year.
He played well in both of the games that he's had against Georgia. And so, I expect them to already know what's going on there. The difference is going to be this year, of course, from a wide receiver perspective, they can't just key in on Eric Singleton. And that's what makes the Auburn wide receiver core so dangerous. It's like, who on this team do you say to yourself, you got to stop that guy? Well, if you focus too much on that guy, pick your poison. Do you want to focus on Eric Singleton? Fine. Cam Coleman's going to be on the other side. Do you want to focus on Cam Coleman? Good luck figuring out how to stop Eric Singleton. You want to, all right, we're going to put 2 safeties and we're just double team both of them. Malcolm Simmons in the slot seems like a dangerous proposition to just let him wander around free, right? And so now it's just, is Jackson Arnold going to be he's going to be able to assess what's going on and decide which of these multiple guys who I have to be able to get the ball to is the best option on this play.
Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams are on the cover of the new college football game going into its sophomore year, coming back, of course, since 2014. You think Cam Coleman should have fit on that cover?
I don't think he had the productivity to fit on there, right? Like, I think he has the ability, but it was clear early in the season that Ryan Williams was going to be one of the more electric wide receivers in college football, and the way Jeremiah Smith was throughout the entirety of the season, but particularly when you got into the college football playoff, the way that he dominated games there, well earned by those young men. But I would not say that Cam Coleman is outside of that ilk, right? Like, it's not as if he's a next tier guy from a talent perspective, but I mean, look at the offensive production and what happened with those guys specifically. They earned it. And I think if anything, Cam should say, look, man, this has got to be the year where I make people respect me as one of the guys that should be in that conversation.
No doubt. I totally agree with you. Ike Jones from the War Report. Always appreciate you hopping on with us, man. Let the people know where they can follow all of your work down the plains.
Absolutely. I am on Twitter or X, whatever, TWR, Ike Jones. We are at the War Report. I'm not going to spell it this time because I screwed that up so wonderfully last time, but it is Rapport, Rapport, if you're trying to spell that out. And you can definitely check us out on YouTube over there for our show.
Always great, man. Enjoy the weekend.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks, bro.
Great stuff, as always. Ike Jones from the War Report. You can find him over on Twitter at TWR Ike Jones. Go and do that right now if you're looking to follow everything Auburn athletics. We got to hit a break. When we come back, is this the time I bring up the Sydney Sweeney stuff?
256-577-64977. No, the answer
I might bring it up.
No.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Auburn and Alabama open up play in the NCAA baseball tournament today. Alabama, the number 2 seed of the Hattiesburg Regional, $1.54 favorite over the Miami Hurricanes. Southern Miss, a $5 favorite over Columbia, plus 340. In the Auburn Regional, top seed Auburn minus 200 to advance to the Super Regional round. A $7.20 favorite over Central Connecticut State today. The Blue Devils plus 450. Atlanta Braves, $1.66 home favorite against the Boston Red Sox at Truist Park.
NASCAR today, the Truck Series at Nashville. Corey Hine, the plus 130 favorite. The Cup race on Sunday, Kyle Larson plus 450. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
You've seen those beautiful epoxy floors in a garage or carport area and have probably wondered, how can I get that done? Well, the answer is Lifetime Epoxy Floors. Lifetime Epoxy Floors is an A-plus rated business with the Better Business Bureau and has been family-owned for over 14 years. They do both residential and commercial applications and get most jobs done in a day. Lifetime Epoxy Floors' motto is, we love what we do, and it shows. Visit LifetimeEpoxyFloors.com to schedule a free estimate today and check them out on Facebook.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up. Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Would you call a plumber for a root canal? The same goes for selling your timberland or farm. Choose someone who understands your property and can help you on the front end so you can capitalize on the back end. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Bo knows land.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
Scattered showers and a few thunderstorms will be coming to an end by about lunchtime. High temperatures warming into the upper 70s. Heading into Friday night, we start to clear out and dry out with low temperatures falling into the upper 50s. Saturday brings plenty of sunshine. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. Weekday morning starting at 9 a.m. on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Blitz liner?
That is exactly what that is.
We made it.
Yeah.
Welcome back in to the most energetic sports talk show here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. John Abraham, Joe Hunk just got done with a great conversation with Ike Jones from the War Report. I mean, I don't think he's stressing too much about Central Connecticut. But again, that Northwestern team sticks out, and you got to be a little bit skeptical, thinking that you just run through their Auburn regional. And, well, we're going to be covering that, following that throughout the entirety. But you will be able to actually listen to the Alabama matchup today on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. And it should be a fun one. It's going to start at 1:45 here on the station. And then later on in the day, you get Braves baseball as they're not playing the Phillies anymore. Thank God. And I'm also saying thank God that they won yesterday in pretty good fashion, because it was getting a little worrisome.
2 in a row, man.
Yeah.
It's 2 in a row.
It's getting a little worrisome, though, Joe.
Well, I mean, you also...
Those 2 games in a row. They didn't win that first game of the day, did they?
No, correction. I was, for some reason, thinking 2 in a row, like yesterday was a separate day. It's 1 in a row. I mean, then you also, lost one of your starting one of your pitchers. Right now, that's a victory, okay?
Golly, I'm just glad they won.
You lose one of your starters. Most likely, he's done for the season.
God.
Your pitching coach didn't even know that he was injured. It took your ace to walk over there to let him know that he was injured. I say ace. Spencer Strider to me is still the ace. He goes over to let everybody goes, hey, you may want to go out there and check on AJ. I don't think something's right. Bad look, man. No, bad look. Yeah. Or it's just a good eye by Strider. I don't know which way you want to look at that. Between losing him, you were trying to give Acuna a day of the first game off just because he just got back into playing, and you don't want to kill him in the doubleheader. And then sure enough, he has to go into the game as a defensive replacement because of an injury that took place. I mean, it's like, you can't win right now. You've got some really bad luck. I don't know what witch put what sort of hex on this team, but it's becoming annoying. And now you basically are playing a team that is your version of yourselves in the American League, in the Boston Red Sox, that are coming to town tonight. So you have a 3-game series with them. So that's happening. But also, yes, Alabama and Miami is going to get going at 1:45 pregame. 2:00 is when you're going to be able to see and hear first pitch on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. You also are going to be able to, if you want to watch that game, it is going to be on ESPN2.
Joe, I know you don't want to talk about this.
Then why the heck are you bringing it up?
But I just think this is the epitome of 2025, the ridiculousness.
And now let me ask you, is this more important than the pictures that have been sent out of all of the stuff happening at SEC Media Days?
Well, here's the thing,
meetings,
Joe.
I should say.
We have a little over a minute to talk about.
Okay.
So I'm just going to get it out of the way.
That's why I'm asking.
That's why I'm saying that we should talk about it, just to get it out of the way. Maybe we'll get some phone calls on.
Or not at all.
Sydney Sweeney is promoting her new soap in collab with, what is it, the Sasquatch brand of soap. It's going to be infused with her bathwater. Man, I feel like this is 2015 all over again. There was some fan creator that infused some jars with her own bathwater, and now... Well, it's 2025, 10 years later, and, Hollywood stars are spraying soap with their bathwater, and, it's going to probably cost a lot of money. I don't know how many people are actually going to use it, and it's going to be a collectible for many years, and it's going to be a keepsake that you hand down to your child. So just think about that once you're purchasing it in your very dark room. Sydney Sweeney, everybody. She was in that one movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Joe.
256-576-977. Save me, God.
I'm going to buy it.
Save me.
Carrabba's Italian Grill is the best place to enjoy authentic Italian cuisine, passed down from our founders' family recipes. Featuring a wood-burning grill, you can enjoy Carrabba's signature dishes, including chicken brine, wood-fired grilled steak and chops, and classic Italian pasta dishes. Have a special event? Elevate your catering with Carrabba's Catering, the perfect way to enjoy large party portions of your favorite hand-prepared dishes for any event. Carrabba's Italian Grill at Parkway Place, Huntsville.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a back compressor, leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490.
AL certain number 21014.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal. And we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Football season and Bad Daddy's Burger Bar. The perfect combination of good times and great food. This season, score big with one of our chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness. Our delicious burgers are made with premium Angus beef, and you can pair it with one of our signature cocktails or a cold craft beer from our huge selection. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and our new location at Cliff Farm, Highway 72 in Madison.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Auburn and Alabama open up play in the NCAA baseball tournament today. Alabama, the number 2 seed of the Hattiesburg Regional, $1.54 favorite over the Miami Hurricanes. Southern Miss, a $5 favorite over Columbia, plus 340. In the Auburn Regional, top seed Auburn, minus 200 to advance to the Super Regional round. A $7.20 favorite over Central Connecticut State today. The Blue Devils plus 450. Atlanta Braves, $1.66 home favorite against the Boston Red Sox at Truist Park. NASCAR today, the Truck Series at Nashville. Corey Hine, the plus 130 favorite. The Cup race on Sunday, Kyle Larson plus 450. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
Scattered showers and a few thunderstorms will be coming to an end by about lunchtime. High temperatures warming into the upper 70s. Heading into Friday night, we start to clear out and dry out with low temperatures falling into the upper 50s. Saturday brings plenty of sunshine. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Second hour, final hour, best hour on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Joe Hunk, John Abraham with you on a Friday where rain has been off and on all the way throughout the morning. Driving in, a lot of us obviously dealt with a lot of rain, poured down as I was coming in.
That's weird. It must have been a little bit more north of us.
I promise you, if you would have seen the way that I looked when I ran in here today, like the hoodie that I have on right now that you can see on WZZN TV, it was drenched in water. Like it was just all the sorts of rain.
Did it get the hawk?
I actually was worried about the hawk for a second. I think it did because hawk's not as tight as what it was when I left the house this morning.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it did get the hawk just a little bit.
It's surprising. Whenever like the water hits the hawk, I feel like it usually tightens up a little bit more.
It was there were a lot of big, massive raindrops. It wasn't just rain. It was massive raindrops is what it was.
What do you use? What do you put in that thing?
Secret sauces. Yeah.
Does it taste good?
Yeah, multiple things. It's basically a concoction that I make in the bathroom every single morning.
I was wondering what that tartar sauce smell was.
Yeah, I tried the sweet and sour, man. I love that thing from McDonald's. It's like the only thing at McDonald's I love is the sweet and sour sauce.
It'll keep it up.
But it was too the odor kind of got to my wife. It's probably the best way.
It's a good scent unless there's too much, then you might get a headache.
You know, with barbecue, when you eat so much barbecue that eventually you've got to have the other flavored. Like you can't just go traditional barbecue in the hair. So that smell as well is just one that just didn't really work out.
And it's a favorite of most people. And similar to like working at your favorite restaurant, you don't want to do that.
No, and the next thing you go, you see a cute little dog, and you just want to, scratch its head, and the next thing you know, the dog's wanting to lick your hair, and it's just odd.
Speaking of dogs, yesterday I was walking around my apartment complex, and me and Summer were just walking, just having a casual little walk, and this dog just came out of nowhere. It was a very small dog, kind of looked like Sid's dog from Toy Story 1, a little bit smaller, probably a mix of a Chihuahua as well.
Was it as built as Sid's dog was? Okay, just curious.
It was a little older, but it was a little white dog. He was just clomping around on the pavement, and then he just started following us. And we walked around the entire complex, and he followed us the entire way. And we were wondering, like, whose dog is this? It had a leash, and it probably came from one of the neighbors that was right in that little area, but followed us all the way around.
Yeah.
And then once we got around, it went through a little alleyway. And then we see it again, and it's just running up the stairs to the house that it lives in. I'm like, damn, dogs are really smart. You know? They're really evolving throughout the years. But,
I mean, again, if humans can evolve over the course of, thousands of years, you would think that dogs could as well.
I think they do it more though. They'd be paying taxes at this point. But the dog. It was funny because he used us so he could walk around the entire complex. Because
I've never a friend, man. He just wanted a friend. If you want a friend, you can give us a call 256-576-4977 as go.
And unlike other friends, we will pick up.
Yes, and Fleming Roofing and Restoration will show up.
Yes, because they are the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, just look them up online. Joe, it's easy. You just look up FlemingHSV.com, fill out your free quote, and then they show up.
Well, and everybody showed up in Destin. In fact, everybody's kind of traveling back from Destin this morning.
Yeah.
Steve Moulton is on the road now. Obviously, the drive tonight starting at 5:00. And I'm curious because all the things that are coming out right now of SEC Media Days that we talked about for like the course of 2 or 3 days, None of it got finalized whatsoever. Like none of it did. The biggest things story-wise when it comes to decisions that were actually made was one, storming the field now is going to be costing a team $500,000.
Golly, I saw that. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, $500,000.
It's not just storming the field, it's storming the court too.
Yeah, storming the field, storming the court. It's no longer like a tier system, like just boom, $500,000. And if you remember last year during March, how we started to go, how does home court advantage in the number 1 seed in the women's tournament actually go to a coin flip? Like how dumb is that? That we got to the point on the checklist where there's a coin flip that's involved. The SEC also announced yesterday that their tiebreakers now in basketball when it comes to seeding is now going to go to head-to-head point differential and in net ranking. I said NET, I was about to say NIT. In net ranking, those are going to be the things that are going to determine if you're the 1 seed or the 2 seed or any other sort of tiebreakers that are going to be coming along when it comes to that sort of thing. So those are the big things that came out. Not if they wanted 5-11 or 4-4-4-4, 2-2-2-2-2, 1-1-1-1-1, whatever they decided on. They didn't decide that. They didn't decide on 8 or 9 conference games. And because every bit of that apparently is still up for a discussion as far as wanting to know what the College Football Playoff Committee is going to be doing, because December 1st is going to be apparently like the deadline that everybody has for the new decision on the 12-team playoffs and it expanding and what it's going to be and all that. And then that's going to have a ripple down effect. The question about it is, and I've been reading how all the different conferences, because the SEC wasn't the only ones having meetings this week. Big 12 had meetings, ACC had meetings, all these ones. I guess Pac-12 got together at a Denny's. I don't really know. They all had meetings. It was just everybody was talking about it. But the whole question is the unanimous thought is look, we don't want to make a decision and then not knowing what the College Football Playoff Committee is looking for. And here's my question. Why do we have a committee? And it sounds so like just blatantly dumb to ask that. But when you're trying to determine the 16 best teams in college football, do we not have a system that could be created where you don't have to go into a room and let people try to discuss the popularity or how many students go to universities or how many fans were at games or anything like that to determine who should be 1 through 16? Like, have we not evolved enough that we can kind of figure that out? I understand that you can't go, hey, the 16 best teams with the 16 best records are going to be the ones, because, again, you've got to make this as balanced as you possibly can as far as your reasoning getting in. 5-11 does make sense. But why do we need a committee to determine who the other 11 teams are? I mean, I'm very curious about this, because between strength of schedule, point differentials, you're looking at the ratings as far as how good the teams are offensively, defensively, all of that stuff that you look at. Why can we not just come up with a system that says these are the metrics? It's 16 teams. We're not picking 74.
I think that a lot of it comes down to just a group of people wanting to have their toes involved within, what's actually happening. I don't think they want to leave it up to a system or to an algorithm to put it together. I think that 16 plus people need to get together and actually talk about, well, does this team need to be in? Yes. Does this team need to be in? No. But there's also the bias that could slide in there, like we saw last year, like we've seen in other sports, basketball.
And I'm not asking for the other 11 teams to all be SEC teams. I don't care if 2 or 3 of the other 11 teams are G5 teams. I don't care if the metric matches up and the math adds up. Then why are we even using a committee to begin with a bunch of people that you don't know when it comes to their allegiances and their decisions and why they're making the decisions? I get that when you could say, a conference leader is going to have to step out of the room if their team or their conference is being discussed. I get all of that. But why do we need that instead of having a group of people, 4 or 5 people, that are looking at it from a standpoint of play that is the way that the teams have played and what they have actually done on the field, to say these are your 11 other best teams?
Well, we have somebody on the lines that has a firsthand experience of the decision-making or lack thereof that was going on down in Destin. It's Steve Moulton, everybody. Steve, how you doing, man? Oh, wait, I didn't get you. Sorry.
So much this week. I mean, it's great to be on. How you guys doing back there?
We're doing wonderful. You're a little bit choppy, though, on your end. Are you said you were in
you're
Birmingham,
you're
right?
like the waves heading Destin. You're choppy right now.
Wow. So I'm going to blame AT&T on that one. Is that any better?
Yeah,
you're good.
I
you're
moved
good.
my phone. Okay. So one thing I wanted to add that you guys were talking about in terms of, do we need a committee? I think we do need a committee, but there was something that was brought up by Dan Wetzel yesterday to me, as well as a couple other guys that I was talking to, on how NCAA hockey puts their seating together. They use a half committee, half computer kind of format, and it's something that the NCAA already has, where the committee's there just as kind of a fail-safe in case the computer rankings don't spit out the right algorithm, if you know what I'm saying.
Gotcha. So that is kind of like they want to make sure that they have their own input as
So
well.
like if everything looks right by what the computer spits out, but then there's like a Kennesaw State that it doesn't make any sense that they're in that they get spit out.
Yeah, exactly. And so there is something tangible that the NCAA can look at, but keep in mind that the NCAA doesn't run the CFP.
No.
So of course not. But I do think the CFP needs to. That's the other thing. Barry Trammell told me, and he's spot on. How do you get on the committee? We don't know that. And just you can just be a fan. It really it's kind of nonsense when you think about it, and really step back. When you're inside the forest, it's really just you get caught in the weeds. But how do you get on the committee in the first place? Just because you're an athletic director. Or Jeff Long just went back in. He's not doing anything right now.
Exactly.
I don't know the process.
No, and I think that's the biggest question mark with this, because look, and we've talked so much about how the fact that I'm like, I just want 12 good football games. I want to be able to want to watch my team for 12 games and not want to turn it off in the middle of the second half because they're playing POSU. Like, I just want good games. But at the same time, I also shouldn't be sitting here and wondering about who's behind the curtain like this is Oz and trying to figure out what that person is thinking. Like, we need a checklist. We need something that conferences and leagues and everything need to look at, because look, I want 9 conference games. I want 10 conference games. Hey, give me 11. I don't care. I just want good football. And at the same time,
was awesome, wasn't it? 2020 was awesome.
Every single one. It's every single game mattered. I mean, every single one. And so I'm thinking and looking at it and I'm going, why do we need this committee that is meeting at this airport in Dallas, that's in a conference room, that they're supposedly breaking down all this stuff and taking hours on hours to discuss this, when it shouldn't take that much energy?
No, you're exactly right. Now that we've gotten to this point, that the one thing that intrigued me most from the college football perspective down there in Destin was how many different opinions I heard really across the board. There is I didn't hear a single same sentence from any one coach to another coach. Probably the most extreme was Lane Kiffin when he said, let's just throw it open and just whoever's the 16 best teams. And I thought, well, there is something to that, where you have no automatic qualifiers and just pick the 16 best teams. But then that's when I think that hockey equation needs to get in with that computer/committee just as a fail-safe. I like that idea a lot.
Well, I mean, and I like the idea of the strength of schedule mattering. Like, we can look at and determine what are the important things that really and truly do matter when it comes to determining if a team is or is not the best team in the country or one of the 16 best.
So the one thing that really didn't get out that I talked to a couple of reporters about that is this is the most extreme of extreme that they're kind of talking in a corner about, but it's not really getting out there. But I'm about to tell you, which is we can all agree that the Southeastern Conference is the most, excuse me, let me pull out my talking sheets here. The most grueling of all the schedules is in the Southeastern Conference. The other part of that is there is at least a fraction of an idea of we're just going to take our ball and have our own tournament. Y'all just, God be with you and we're done with you. That the SEC would just do its own thing and just move on. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. That's at least being discussed as if this really goes down the wrong path, that the SEC can take their ball and run with it themselves and run their own tournament.
All right. And we appreciate that, Steve, because we got to get to Drew here in just a second. So thanks for calling. Where are you at, by the way?
Studio.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about right now.
That's his studio.
Where am I right now? I am north of Birmingham. I'm 85 miles from the Bucks.
All right.
Oh, okay, cool. So you're about to go through Coleman.
You'll be here in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, Steve. Great stuff, man.
For that. No, and if that discussion is taking place behind the scenes of the SEC, you have to imagine it's the same discussions happening in the Big Ten, the ACC, and the Big 12. I mean, let's again, and if we want to sit here and argue about 5 and 11, 16 and 16 best seeds and whatever, if you just take the P4s and you make them into a league, you then can go by best records. And you can make this more NFL-like, where there is a win percentage, conference championships, best records, boom, you're in.
Yeah.
I
feel like this is nuclear warfare on the athletics
Is this
level.
the Cold War of college football?
Who's going to set it off first?
Can we get a bunker? Is it the sad thing that out of the Cold War, the one thing that every time I notice when looking back at the Cold War, I go, dude, I'd love to have one of them bunkers.
Yeah.
One of those bunkers would have been amazing.
You should play Fallout 4. You'll scratch that itch, Joe.
I just want a bunker.
I hope I don't need a bunker, but you don't make a bad idea.
I just want a bunker.
A bunker with a whole little like a man cave in it. You can have a pool, a jacuzzi, a big old movie theater, like all of that stuff.
If I can get Wi-Fi down there, I'm set.
That might be tough.
Well, no, because you just run a line down to it that connects to the Wi-Fi, and then the Wi-Fi spreads throughout the room, right?
Well, if everything is gone on the top.
No, I'm not talking about the actual Cold War, man. I'm not talking about this. Are we going to look up in the sky and there's going to be a Razorback flying through the air somewhere? Like, no, I'm not talking about the
We're
Cold
not
War
talking
itself.
about Arkansas either.
I'm just saying, like that. No, we're not talking about that type of Cold War. I'm just talking about this feels like the Cold War of college athletics.
No doubt.
Where somebody's got to press the button at some point in time.
I think the reason why they're not, though, it's similar to a conversation we had earlier. It's going to change the college football landscape forever. But, hey, it's already been underway for the last few years. Either way, Drudy Armand's going to help out with this conversation from one host to another here on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
Here in North Alabama, barbecue is a part of what makes our home so special, and great barbecue from Lawler's makes it just that much better. Since 1978, Lawler's has been serving up their delicious barbecued pork, ribs, chicken, ham, and turkey for generations of family get-togethers. Recognized as the best barbecue joint in Alabama for 2 years in a row, Lawler's is thrilled to share their award-winning barbecue for your next family meal or catered event. Order online or stop by any one of their 14 area locations. Lawler's Barbecue, cooked slow, served fast. Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. needs. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Hello, listeners. I want to tell you a little bit about Minuteman Press and what we have to offer our community. We specialize in paper printing and can help from designing your piece to the finished product. We print media guides for many of the athletic departments at high schools and universities around the area. We typically purchase sponsorships from these schools as well, to try and help them with their fundraising. Once we have reached our new normal, we also print all types of marketing materials for you to hand out either in person, via mail, or at various trade shows and events. At Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
Here in North Alabama, barbecue is a part of what makes our home so special, and great barbecue from Lawler's makes it just that much better. Since 1978, Lawler's has been serving up their delicious barbecued pork, ribs, chicken, ham, and turkey for generations of family get-togethers. Recognized as the best barbecue joint in Alabama for 2 years in a row, Lawler's is thrilled to share their award-winning barbecue for your next family meal or catered event. Order online or stop by any one of their 14 area locations. Lawler's Barbecue, cooked slow, served fast.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make. So it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Stuart Evans, mortgage loan officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation in a changing rate environment. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit me at our downtown Huntsville office and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Bryant Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
The Atlanta Braves.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Here it comes. Line shot, left field, around third base, Albies. Here's the throw from Lux. Not in time. Braves win as the rookie walked it off in 11 innings.
All season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hello and welcome back in to the Blitz. John Abraham, Joe Hunk, and Steve Moulton kind enough to call in, talk a little bit about what he was hearing over in Destin, Florida as the SEC meetings come to an end. And now we look forward to SEC Media Days in Atlanta, which I'm very much looking forward to. Going to be at the College Football Hall of Fame, which we talked a little bit about earlier in the week. Coach Leach looking to be the next added in, and I think that is a very special story. But I don't know why there's got to be a winning percentage stipulation anyway, Joe. I really don't.
Well, it's, you got to have some sort of, standards, guidelines, things that you look for that you have to at least meet before you're considered, kind of like what you would like to know about with the college football playoff outside of winning your conference championship. Like you'd like to know some of those things like strength of schedule.
I don't know. I mean, there's an impact factor, I think, that's got to go into it. I think that's exactly where Mike Leach falls into it. And joining us now is Drew DeArmond, a man who knows very well about the fellow or the former coach. And Drew, I mean, this is a big change. I mean, it's only a few percentiles, but I mean, what do you think about it? I mean, Mike Leach being a possible candidate for the Hall of Fame moving forward.
Oh, he'll get in, and I'm happy for Coach Leach and his family. May he rest in peace. I think it's one of the saddest things ever that we lost him so early because I always wanted him to be in the conference. I think he was really on the precipice of getting Mississippi State into being a program that won 9 games a year like Dan Mullen was doing, maybe even getting them to double-digit wins because he was that good a coach. I think now, do I think he would have gotten them to the playoff ultimately? Maybe he may have been able to put it all together for one season and do that, but I think they would have been a consistent pain in the ass. And I think he was getting them to that point. I know he thought going into that season before, the health took such a turn that Mississippi State was very optimistic that they were going to have a upper level SEC team. But I think he had them on that track. And I think his legacy to me is he didn't take the path, that a lot of people did. He took jobs that were considered very difficult in the hindsight of things of programs that win consistently, like at the highest level, but he took them to levels they'd never been. Like, don't forget, he took Texas Tech to #1 when they were in the Big 12. Now, they didn't win the national championship, but it's hard enough to do what he did at Texas Tech, and he did that without and just was, and then it did an outstanding job. Really, when you look at it at Washington State, that's another very difficult place to win. He had them near the top of the Pac-12 during his tenure there. And again, I think he was going to make Mississippi State very, very competitive. He was just a unique character. Real quick, I'll share a short story. When he was at Kentucky with Hal Mumme, and that's when he started kind of rising through the ranks, when they brought that offense to the SEC with Tim Couch, they were trying to recruit Tyler Watts, who we know ultimately went to Alabama, is now the radio color analyst. Mike Leach called what he thought was his house at midnight trying to recruit Tyler, and it was Tyler Watts' uncle. And before the uncle knew it, and he was trying to tell Coach Leach, well, I can give you the number to his father's house. He talked to this guy for an hour and a half. I mean, it's classic Mike Leach. He would answer the phone and talk to anyone. And I think that's why he was so beloved. I had a friend one time that was vacationing in Key West. Mike had a home over there. He ran into Mike Leach. He's like, holy bleep, I just ran into the pirate. I mean, this guy, he was just a regular guy. He actually had a law degree. He could have been a practicing lawyer. He was just very, very eccentric and different. And he would answer any question. I miss him all the time, and I wish we had a chance to interact with him during SEC Media Days, because I'll never forget one of the last times he was there. He didn't even have an opening statement. He just said, let's go to questions. Yep. I mean, he just was totally a unique guy, man. I'm glad he's going to be able to get in, and I'm sure he will get into the College Football Hall of Fame.
No doubt. Yeah. And last time I heard him, it was actually in Atlanta during that last SEC Media Days that that took place in Georgia. And, you talked a little bit about Texas Tech. He used to be the coach of that organization. And now we're still looking at Texas Tech, maybe not in football, but in softball, because, Coach Glasgow, he's got this team rolling pretty hot. And I know you've been following a little bit of softball, a lot more of the baseball. But, tell us what you know about these teams that are going to be going up against each other tomorrow and today when it comes to the softball World Series.
Well, it was just the day of the walk-off yesterday. I mean, Tennessee's 1 out away from getting a huge win over Oklahoma and making them come out of the loser's bracket, and they give up a 3-run homer and lose 4-3. I mean, that's gut-wrenching. I've seen Alabama go through things like that. It's tough, but it took Alabama several years with Coach Murphy getting there just to win a game, because it's so important to get in the winner's bracket and stay there. And Oklahoma, under Patty Gasso, they just seem to have that magic. I mean, they're just very, very difficult to beat right now. They're going for an unprecedented 5 championships in a row. I mean, that was tough. I mean, Tennessee played about as well as you can play, but you just got to a lot of times in softball, it's an extremely fast game. It's 7 innings, and the toughest thing to do is get the last 3 outs. And I was watching it at midnight last night because of, some delays and weather and things of that nature, but you saw UCLA defeat Oregon, on a walk-off home run last night to win their opening round game. And by the way, the more I see it, I don't know how much you guys have talked about it on the show today or, in the last couple, but this obstruction rule sucks. I'll just say that. I don't like it. I haven't liked it for a long time. I mean, I was watching it last night, and luckily UCLA still won the game on the walk-off. But in the 7th inning, would have been the second out, 1 out away. Oregon gets the tying run to score because of an obstruction call. When it looked like to me they just threw the ball home well ahead of the runner, and the catcher tagged her out. I don't really know what constitutes obstruction. I'll say that it's just kind of a whack rule, and so that's what the thing I've kind of taken out of it. Texas Tech, you talked about that. They got the 1-0 win. They've got the $1 million arm, so to speak. Maybe the best pitcher in the tournament. But I will say this: when you have someone like that, and he's kind of like a Cat Osterman, you still got to score though. They won 1-0. If you're playing the Oklahomas and the UCLAs of the world, you're going to have to swing the bat. So the Red Raiders, they're going to have to score some runs, but certainly if you have a dominant force in the circle, you can survive. And they did beat Ole Miss 1-0. That was a hot Ole Miss team that they beat yesterday.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I have seen a little bit of the obstruction rule this year, and it has caused a lot of controversy, a lot of confusion within some of the calls. And although it does seem right at times, there are a lot of times that will kind of throw you off to the point where it's like, hey, I feel like that's not fair, and there might be some strings being pulled. But again, it's just how the rules change within college athletics. But moving over now to the baseball World Series that we're going to be looking at. Alabama, of course, in Hattiesburg, going to get rolling today in the afternoon. Is this an Alabama team that we can be confident about? Is this a team that you look at, you see the strength in the arms, you see the strength in the bats, and you can say that, hey, this is a team that could go to the College World Series and really make a push for it?
Well, I mean, they got to win this regional, and they did win one 2 years ago at home, and it still took some luck. Troy had to make a throwing error that opened the door for Alabama to complete a comeback and stay in the winner's bracket. The key is staying in the winner's bracket. It's going to be interesting. We had Rob Vaughn on Talking Ball, as you know, John, earlier in the week, and he confirmed what he told us, yesterday when he spoke to the media. There hasn't been a change, so he's got to be, healthy. Riley Quick will take the bump for Alabama for the first time in about a week and a half. He should be extremely fresh. He's a guy that's kind of vaulted up the Baseball America rankings. I think right now he's 19th, which means there's a very high probability he could go in the first round of the draft. And certainly he can cement that with a really good postseason. This will be his first postseason start of his career because, again, he was a reliever as a freshman, a middle relief guy, and then last year he missed the entire season, sans one start. So he's been dominant. Now, the one thing, he has had some issues in the first inning, so that I'm going to watch that very closely. He needs to get off to a good start because that's kind of the key in these regional games. You want to jump on your opponent. In Miami, JT Arteaga, JD Arteaga's been there a long time as a player, pitching coach, second year as a head coach. Their record isn't great, but they have a lot of talent. And to me, they come from the second best college baseball league in the country in the ACC. They've lost 6 out of 7, but at the same time, they still have a lot of talent. The interesting thing is, they're not going to go with Hugus. They're the guy that's really been all ACC and been, for the most part, Griffin Hugus has been their number one for most of the year. But as Joe can attest to you, college baseball is a little bit different. Like sometimes pitchers get hot down the stretch, roles can change midway through the season or even the last third of the season. So they're going to go with AJ Siskar, who is a freshman. He leads the team in ERA. It's interesting. This will only be his 9th start. He's also made double-digit relief appearances, but they're going to go with him in this matchup against Alabama. And so he's definitely a guy. I believe he lives in the mid-90s. He's someone that throws hard. So Miami's used to having these high-quality arms, and so it should be a power matchup on the mound. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And then, I just was double-checking it because I figured, that this might be the case. And then you look at, what it could be their opponent in the second round if they win. because you can't ever assume anything, but Southern Mississippi is going to be a favorite over Columbia, and they're going with Matt Adams, who pitched against Alabama earlier on April 8th. He'll get the start, and their ace will be held out for Game 2, who's a Golden Spike semifinalist, much along the lines of Justin LeBron. And then for Alabama, what they've got to do, I took this from Rob Vaughn when he says your dudes have to be dudes. Justin LeBron, Cade Snell, Richie Batamalo, Bryce Bauer, those guys at the top of the lineup have to produce. And then Alabama's got to find a way to contain Daniel Cavey, the third baseman. I know Joe was talking about him yesterday from Miami. He's got 16 bombs, 76 RBIs, batting average near 380. You've got to make sure he doesn't have one of those games where he's 3 for 4 with a homer, a double, a single, and he kind of carries this offense on his back. You've got to pitch him carefully and try to keep him from doing major damage.
Well, and again, baseball can travel in Hattiesburg. Ball can travel well there. And so it's one that it could be more of a high scoring tournament and a high scoring regional than what you were expecting. But, also going on is SEC media days or meetings, I should say, because I continue to want to call it media days. They basically left without any decision on 8 or 9 conference games and what format they would like to at least put in for what they would say for the committee. But for you, with both of those, what direction do you think this should go when the decision is made on, December 1st-ish about what the new playoff is going to be?
Well, I think it's going to be 16 teams, but I'll just say this. Look, I know there's a lot of consternation going around about the first playoff, and we've all talked about it. We certainly don't think Indiana and SMU and teams of that ilk. Now, I'm not going to say Boise State because there's going to be a group of 5 representatives, so they're going to be in there. Now, I have a problem with their seeding. I don't think they were a top 4 seed, but like I said, I just think the Indianas of the world and the SMUs, they didn't win their league. And when you look at their strength of schedule, they did not play anyone. And then you watch them in the playoffs, and it's your eye test. I think everybody that saw them understand that Indiana and SMU were not as good as Alabama, Ole Miss, or South Carolina. And that's the sticking point now. And what Sankey has been talking about is well, if they're going to penalize us for, and not take in a strength of schedule component, then why do you play those teams? But I do think that will all be worked out, in my opinion. I think because look, Rome wasn't built in a day. You look at the college basketball landscape, even college baseball that we're talking about today, they have come up with a strength of schedule component. You have to, especially if you start expanding a field. If it goes this quickly, Joe, from a 4-team playoff to 12 to 16, there has to be some sort of scheduling component. And you have to understand, which they do in college basketball and college baseball, that all conferences are not created equal. They're just not. I took this from Kirby Smart this week. He's like, I didn't hear anybody raising Cain because the SEC got 13 teams in for baseball, which set a record, and they got every team in for softball. And there's a reason for that, because they're the best league in those particular sports. I think the SEC is in football. Right now, the crutch is, Ohio State and Michigan have won the last 2 national championships, but in 13 and 14, the SEC didn't win, but they got back to business with Alabama in 15, and then Alabama was reaching the finals and or winning championships, 16, 17, 18, things of that nature. So I just think overall, when you look at it, and then 19 LSU had, a historic team. I think the SEC will be back, but I think what Greg Sankey wants, he wants some clarity. I will say this. I think I saw Josh Pate post this yesterday. I think the SEC is doing a rope-a-dope. It's going to end up being that 5-11 model, and I think the ACC is already for it. But once they work out all the kinks with this scheduling model and the criteria that they judge, the SEC will be just fine with this 5-11 format, and the SEC will still have the most bids, no doubt about it, because it's the best football. I think the Big Ten is second, and then everybody else is playing big-time catch-up, and I think that's what's going to come out of this. But, again, I thought the spring meetings were interesting, but I just think overall the SEC, I'll give Greg Sankey credit. He always is on top of things, and I think he's kind of rope-a-doping some of these other conferences.
Do you think when that happens, if that happens, the 5-11 format, is that whenever the turning point of that 8-9 game conference schedule will come?
Yeah, and I look, here's the deal. I think eventually the SEC will probably go to 9, and here's the big reason, though. The big reason is because the member institutions also need to sell tickets, guys, and they need butts in the seats. Of course, they're going to have eyes watching on television, but they're wanting to get the fans in the stadium. And the way you do that is to play SEC games. Because I have friends that are season ticket holders at Alabama. Do you think they want to go to watch Louisiana Monroe? They're going to sell their tickets to somebody else. What they want to see, now they're not very happy about the kickoff time of Wisconsin because it's 11 o'clock in the friggin' morning and you could be roasting, but they would rather see Alabama playing an opponent like a Wisconsin or a Florida State because it creates interest and you want to be inside the stadium because there's still nothing like being at a big game like that. And I think the SEC being as deep as it is, and you've added Oklahoma and you've added Texas, and you've got some programs that I think are on the uptick that are going to be good. You looking at South Carolina, Shane Beamer, they're definitely Lane Kiffin, what he's been doing at Ole Miss. It's created a ton of interest, and the more SEC games you play, the more tickets you sell, the more butts you get in the seats. And you know what that also means, guys? That also means if they go to 9, very, very likely, that's probably going to be part of it. They're going to get more money out of ESPN and continue to be awash in cash, which is the biggest, reason the SEC, in my opinion, is the most dominant athletic league in collegiate athletics. And it's not close because they're the best. They set the tone in every sport. I mean, at least that they're heavily involved in. That's the big three: baseball, basketball, football. And then if you want to talk about women's sports, softball, they're dominant. They actually won in the last 3 years. They won a volleyball national title at Kentucky. So everything is for the SEC right now is dominant because of their television contract and because you look at like what else came out this week. Trev Albert's talking about Texas A&M fully funding every sport from a scholarship standpoint. That you can't replace that. The SEC, in my opinion, is in a great spot. It's in a peerless spot, and it's going to continue to be no matter what Ari Wasserman or some other national person tries to spin. The SEC, you can't stop the SEC. It's they talk about it just means more. Well, it does, and you're not going to be able to stop it because I think the SEC has the proper leadership in place to continue to be at the forefront of collegiate sports.
Drew DeArmond from Talkin' Ball has been our guest. Always great getting you on, Drew. Looking forward to this weekend. Also looking forward to next week. I'm currently looking on Amazon for this hot chip challenge.
What the heck is this? He's mentioned it a couple times off air, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
I love a good
John,
challenge.
Yeah. Just send Joe the link that I sent you yesterday.
Okay,
man,
we'll do. The chips that those guys are eating though are like $60 a piece on Amazon though. So I mean, like,
are they really $60?
I think they are in fact very hot. But yeah, we'll figure something out. Maybe we'll find them in public.
Are they gold plated? My God!
Oh, what are this? The one that I'm looking at right now, Chip Day Tortillo One Chip Challenge 2023, and it's Carolina Reaper and plus NAGA Viper Pepper. So all of that sounds extremely deadly, and I think it's worth the price. But we're gonna maybe have to talk to the big man about it. Drew, appreciate you, man.
Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend.
You too. Good stuff. Drew DeArmond from Talkin' Ball. And on that show, we've been talking about some hot stuff. All right. They also were talking. Drew stopped by Dave's Hot Chicken. All right. And he got a little bit of that place. And let me tell you, that chicken, pretty freaking exquisite. It's hot. It'll burn your insides for the day.
Delicious.
But it is delicious. But we'll take it to break. When we come back, who's playing in the NHL Stanley Cup?
Also, as many things as Huntsville is getting, they just lost something. Major event is leaving the city. I'll let you know what that is when we come back on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Are they promising you up to 10% growth per year guaranteed for your retirement income? If not, you need a new financial advisor. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't work when you're supposed to be retired. If any financial advisor tells you it's too good to be true, they simply don't have the options we do. Call Trajan today, 256-208-9000, 256-208-9000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title, because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal. And we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. Their locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Rocket City, for air that's cool and clean, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Get HVAC smart with Professor Green and the expert team at sensagreen.com. Now offering up to $1,500 off any new Bryant system. Whatever it takes, Sensa Green has Huntsville covered. Remember, folks, with innovative, sensible green solutions, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Final segment, best segment on 97.7 ESPN The Zone for the Blitz. Joe Hunk, John Abraham wrapping it up with you all this Friday. We'll be back on Monday starting at 9 a.m.
with a new sponsor.
Does this start Monday?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh, we're starting out.
Starts Monday. Look at that.
Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. All right. So we're going to be starting that off coming up on Monday. You're not losing an event per se.
Oh.
But you could be losing a little bit of attention because Huntsville is the host of the CUSA basketball tournament that you see every single March.
Yeah.
Over at the VBC. Apparently, the state is doing really good at hosting basketball tournaments because even though the SEC is going to basically be remaining in Nashville, the American Conference is now coming to the state of Alabama.
Where at?
They are going to, and they just announced a little while ago that Birmingham is going to be the host for the 2026 basketball championships down at Legacy Arena.
Well, there you go.
So you are adding that into this. So again, CUSA is happening here, but now with you having UAB going to be playing basically at home at Legacy Arena, it's going to be a little bit more eyes, and some maybe even the fans from North Alabama is going to be heading down to Birmingham to watch the American Championship.
Pretty impressive, I gotta say. They're adding high-level basketball to the state.
That was just announced a little while ago.
Super cool. No other news about any tournaments coming to any area, is there?
As of right now, not that I have seen, but Kentucky has already entered a weather delay for the regionals that they are being a part of. So this is already getting going with a lot of the rains kind of moving out of Alabama right now. We dealt with it a little bit this morning. There's going to be some off and on showers probably for the next hour or so, if that, and then we're going to be good. But now you're going to be seeing how much of the conference and the regional playoffs this is going to affect.
Okay. Well, we knew that there was going to be some rain. I didn't know it would affect us instantly, but at least it's not raining here right now. And it's supposed to be sunny for the next few days or overcast, but no liquid falling from the sky.
Also, it is May 30th. We're about to hop into June, coming up in a little over a month and a half.
Golly.
We're going to be inside of not just like SEC Media Days, but also then talking about how training camps are going to be starting for the NFL. But there are reports saying now that multiple teams are reaching out to the Falcons about trading Kyle Pitts.
Oh, I mean, there's a lot to this story, okay? Because it's not, I don't know if it's 100% Kyle Pitts' fault. I don't know if it's 100% Kirk Cousins' fault, but I mean, we're looking at a team right now that's trying to get back on track. Do you need a guy like Kyle Pitts? I think it helps with getting fans in. I think a lot of people are buying his jerseys, but I mean, the way that he performed at the first half of last season, Joe, it was a little bit uninspiring, but of course, it was a new quarterback in the system. I don't know if he had the same reliability factor that he had prior whenever Desmond Ridder was his quarterback. So it's a whole sticky situation. Yeah, remember that?
God, the quarterbacks he's had to put up with.
Yeah. It's now to the point where, he might have a solidified quarterback, and I don't know if the Falcons would truly want to get rid of him, but at the same time, you got some other tight ends on this roster. Maybe give them a try, see how it goes, and then before the trade deadline, try shopping Kyle Pitts. I hate to say it because I love the guy. He's a great tight end. But, of course, I mean, this is a team that could probably win without him with the amount of talent that they have in the wide receiver room.
Just a few moments ago, Big 12 commissioner spoke with the media. And, yes, he is back to 5-11 college football playoff format. So
I'm all for it, Joe.
Yet another commissioner that is saying that they are on board for the 5-11. He says that it is fair and it rewards performance.
Yes.
So that means that at least trying to keep the regular season relevant.
How much different is the playoff poll going to be to the AP poll, though? That's what I want to know.
No, the playoff poll, the AP poll will change dramatically the moment that the playoff poll is out.
Oh, well,
it's crazy now because they were so afraid of dropping a team down 5 or 6 spots. And then when the playoff poll does it, they're like, oh, it's okay. We can do that now. Yeah.
A lot of change coming, and we're here to cover it all. But Tom Abraham's going to have to take the rest of the flame as he's coming up at noon. We'll see you guys next week.
Congratulations, Tommy Murr.
The sound of the organ, the crack of the bat.
It is gone.
The sight of watching the ball go over the wall, and the taste of peanuts and Cracker Jacks.